What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming back with another wonderful video. As written above, I am going to be reviewing the Flash movie. Um, Hold on, just want to make sure. Okay, cool. Just making sure my Rumble was live. I don't. All right. So yeah, I'm going to be. Oh wait, I haven't even done the super important thing here. Yeah, gotta have that up. Who knows what could possibly happen if I don't have that up. Anyways, like said, I'm going to be reviewing the Flash movie. Um, if you're hoping that I'm going to praise it, well, be disappointed because it was shit. Yeah, no, it was really terrible. Um, I expected it to be terrible. I'm sure anyone who saw any of the commercials expected it as well. But yeah, no, it was really bad. Um, so I mean, if you still want to go watch it, go watch it. But I wouldn't waste my money on it. I saw it 3:30 p.m. at yesterday. Yesterday's Friday, so I saw it 3:30 yesterday. Um, and it was the theater was empty basically. It was me and two other people the entire show. I don't think I looked at tickets and all that like for today and something. I don't think there was many um like people clamoring to go see this movie. So it's a terrible movie. If you've seen any of the news, one of the biggest things is the CGI. The CGI was crap. Like really, really big crap. I'll go get into it a little bit more later on, but the CGI was really dumb, and the director, his response was really dumb. He said, "Oh, the CGI was intentionally bad, so that people would experience." Or to get a view of how the Flash must see people going super fast. Yeah, that's a dumb attempt at an argument because no, it's that's complete bullshit in my opinion. The reason the CGI was bad is probably why the CGI has been bad for the last 1,000 movies. It feels like at this point they overwork their workers. They don't have enough time to render anything. They give them unrealistic timetable or deadline. Sorry. So that's probably why the CGI was actually bad, and now the director is just trying to cover his ass. But yeah, I'll get into it a little more. Um, so let's get into the movie. Um, I got notes. I took notes. I'm very professional here. I took notes. How many pages of notes did I end up taking? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11 pages of notes. I took 11 pages of notes. So I'm super professional. So, good job on me. Um, anyways, so the movie starts with Barry at a coffee shop. He's low on calories. He's trying to get something to eat so he can, boost his calories up. And he's acting really neurotic. Like, I don't know. He's like obviously he's socially awkward and all that stuff. Blah 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 blah. But he's acting like super neurotic, and it's kind of annoying to me, honestly. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm used to a Barry that or a Wally. If you're thinking of the Justice League animated show, but I'm thinking of those guys. Ooh, sorry, I'm thinking of those guys. When I think of like the Flash, and he's or even the Flash CW show. I mean, he may be like a little tiny bit socially awkward, but he's not like a full on like neurotic. And that's how I would describe Ezra Miller's his version of the Flash is just really neurotic. I don't know. It's annoying to me. But anyways, so he's acting real neurotic. He's trying to get some sort of. He's like he kind of acts is acting like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, where he has like a particular like routine, and then he gets all out of shape when that routine isn't met, basically. Like, so he's ordering some sort of like sandwich, like it's a sandwich with peanut butter, jelly, and honey or some shit like that on it. And the chick that normally makes it, he refers to her as curly hair. He she's not there, and some other guy's doing it, and the dude's like yammering on for whatever reason, and so, but he's all acting neurotic because he's like, oh, well, I want to order my usual, and the lady or normally who's here normally knows, and she normally has it all ready for me, blah 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 blah. I'm running late, blah blah blah. Anyway, so he's acting real neurotic about it. But then he gets a call from Alfred, and he answers, and Batman's calling for help. In my opinion, that's kind of out of character for Batman. I don't remember any Batman I know, comics, shows, or whatever, actually asking for help. Generally, he's doing his job, and then Justice League comes, and like a member of the Justice League or someone will come and help him out without him asking. So it's really out of character for me. So I didn't really like that. I'm a big fan of the old, Batman who doesn't need no help, doesn't ask for any help, although he gets it, but he doesn't really ask it. He can normally take care of things. But anyways, basically the reason he needs help, he's calling for help. Sorry, we're getting that. And so Barry's like, oh, I'm running late for his job, blah, 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 blah. So he starts naming off the various Justice League members. He mentions like Superman's dealing with volcano. Can't reach Wonder Woman or Victor Stone or Aquaman. So this is like the last one, and so Barry's gets a little bent out of shape for that. No big deal, whatever. So then while the dude who's supposed to be making a sandwich keeps yammering on, Barry goes into the bathroom, switches into his costume. Oh, and here's the thing that's really stupid. All right, so out of the costume, he has blue lightning. When he puts on his costume, it changes for yellow lightning. I don't understand why. Like, I don't know. Maybe I guess it's like some sort of the suit material and how it goes, whatever. Then it I don't know. It changes his lightning for whatever fucking reason. I think it's really dumb. I think it's just so they could. I think they changed it and they needed an excuse to change it, so that's why. I think it's dumb. I don't know. I think when I saw the Flash in the Justice League movie, I always thought it was dumb when his lightning was blue because, as far as I remember, Flash's lightning was yellow. So why isn't it yellow here? But for whatever reason, they changed it, and the reason it changed was because of the yellow, or because of the suit. And the reason it changed was, I don't know. I think it like helps dissipate his. I don't know. I don't even understand why the suit itself would change his lightning yellow, but it does. And it's got like a little cool like visor that goes between his eyes to protect his eyes, but nothing to protect his face. Like his because his suit, it covers all around here, covers his face except his mouth and his eyes. So then like he's standing there, and then he's got little plastic things to cover his eyes when he's running. And then he does this stupid running pose. That's another thing I have a problem with this Flash. It's the stupid running poses. This guy is like, is a metahuman. He doesn't need, because like I think I remember reading somewhere Ezra Miller decided to like mimic like high like athlete like like the running style of like athletes, like Olympic athletes or some shit like that, or something. He was mimicking something to try and be more aerodynamic or whatever. Yeah, the Flash doesn't need to be more aerodynamic. He just has super speed. So I mean, like in every other iteration, he's just running like a normal human would run, but he just runs a lot faster. So yeah, it's the running pose. So he strikes a pose. It's really dumb, obviously. But then a group of like girls are all screaming like, "Ooh, the Flash!" and blah blah blah, and he gets distracted. And one of them has a candy bar, and he hasn't eaten his sandwich, so he's running low on calories. And And so he asks the lady to throw him her candy bar, and then when she actually and he's like, "Oh, and for the name of justice," or some shit like that. And then so he gets distracted by while talking to Alfred, and then she throws the candy bar and hits his head, and it falls on the ground. So he just had her throw her candy bar for no reason, because he doesn't end up grabbing it or anything like that. So anyways, so the reason Batman needs help is there's like an incident with Falcone, like son, Carmine Falcone's son. Let me just bring up the Wikipedia real quick so I can get some names right. Sorry. I'm sorry I was late today. I know I had it scheduled. I was tired and took a nap, and I also had to help my wife. For those of you who know, my daughter broke her leg, so she's been a little difficult. Okay, let's see. Just trying to. Yeah, Al Falcone. So Carmine Falcone, son. He's like got into a hospital and like took a bio weapon or whatever, which I mean, I don't know why you would have a bio weapon in a hospital, like a regular hospital to like. All right, I'll be right back. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to help my wife. Where was I? Oh, I don't even remember where I was. So let's see. Trying to remember where I was. I lost my goddamn train of thought. Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess there's a bioweapon in the hospital for whatever fucking reason. There's a bioweapon in a regular hospital. And Al Falcone is is stealing it, and Batman's trying to stop him. So now that the Flash is there, Batman basically has them clean up, the mess at the hospital, which is very more Batman-like than calling for help. Thank God, delicious. All right. So Batman chases the bad guys, and Barry starts evacuating the hospital. And there's a whole sequence with Batman chasing after the bad guys and everything like that on his Batmobile. The Batmobile is kind of cool. It has like a way to like a Batarang Like the front of it will like two cars collide, and the Batmobile has like a battering ram type deal, and kind of like can knock those two cars away, which is kind of cool. And then the jet propulsion thing, it can change into like kind of like a spoiler, I guess, on the back of cars and stuff. Like it could change into that to help them make turns real quick. So like the bad guys take a turn, a hard left turn or whatever, and Batman has like a little thing that turns in the jet, like it covers the propulsion system in the back, so it shuts that off, and then it like uses air currents to help like turn it. So that was kind of cool. Um, so, but yeah, so I mean, that's a sequence of Batman. He's chasing the bad guys and stuff like that. Um, and then, so at the hospital, like the ground's falling underneath, it was breaking apart underneath, and on the top floor, for whatever reason, on the top floor, there's a bunch of babies. It's like a nursery and everything. So it's that classic thing you'd think of when you think of like a TV or movie nursery, whatever, a bunch of babies in a room and stuff like that. And the door's locked, and the nurse in there can't open it for whatever reason. And then so, anyways, and Barry's arguing with Alfred because Alfred's saying the front, east wing or whatever is going to collapse, and he's like, "No, and Barry's like, "No, I'm here. It's not breaking." Blah blah blah, etc. Blah. And then, and then and then all of a sudden, it starts collapsing, and one of the windows breaks, and then the building tilts, and so all the babies are on like gurney type things and those little like cupboard style stuff, and they all end up getting launched out the window. Obviously, because if there's babies on the top floor, then obviously you got to throw them out the window so the superhero can save the day. So they go out the window, and Barry, uses various debris to get up top. And this is where you see how bad the CGI is first, because the babies look like don't look like they look like really bad CGI. Like it's really bad. Like I really can't like it looks like when CGI first started out. Like it was super bad. Like how like yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just really bad CGI. Like it's really terrible. And they look like clay with faces on them. And yeah, it's just really bad CGI. So then on his wrist, where he can also hang up and answer phone calls and whatnot, or his forearm, you can also track his calories, which I guess kind of makes sense because like if he's really low on calories, he could faint and stuff like that. His metabolism's so quick, so he's got to eat a lot all the time. So he gets a notification it's low, and like like while in that moment when he gets that notification, everything's really slow. But then when he gets a notification, it starts speeding up, showing like he lacks it because sorry, it doesn't say low calories. Before it said low calories, but now it's saying like calorie deficient. It's giving him a warning that he's basically about to pass out if he doesn't eat something soon. So everything starts to speed up a little bit. Just to signify that hey, he's running out of energy. So what he does is he he assesses the situation, sees where all the babies are and where the nurse is that's falling, and also there's a dog that's falling for whatever reason. And so he first hits a vending machine that's falling as well, eats a bunch to carb up basically and get his energy at full power. And then he goes and rescues the babies. He sees a burrito, eats a burrito, and tosses it to like block a baby from getting stabbed. And like he puts a another baby in a microwave that's obviously unplugged and everything to protect it from being burnt because there's like like a like an oxygen tanker type thing that's that has a jet of fire going out. And then like basically he does like a bunch of like stuff to make it so everything like kind of works how and protects the babies while they're in the midair. And then he gets down on the ground and he kind of arranges like the babies so it's like and the lady so it's like a like this. It's like okay. So then he gets a gurney and then he runs and he's catching each baby one at a time, setting them down, catching a baby, setting him down, catch baby, setting him down, catch all the way. I can't remember how many babies were, and then he catches the lady, or he catches the dog, set him down on the thing, and then he he let's see, and then he catches the lady, sets her down, and then so that's how that ends up going. So she sets them down. And then he talks to her for a second, and the lady screaming her head off because she's like, "Oh my god, I was in the air!" So she's screaming, and now I'm on the ground. I was saved, and she's screaming like a maniac. And he tries to like comfort her or some shit like that, and does a really bad job. Shocking. and then and then he runs off to go help Batman, and then there's Batman sequence. Batman's pretty cool. I think if I remember right, his bat bike. I said Batmobile earlier. He's riding a bat bike. I don't know if I said the bat bike earlier, but it's a bat bike. It's not a Batmobile. But he he let's see. Sorry, my train of thought's going. His bat bike ends up getting blown up, and then he starts gliding in his air, and then he uses his grapple gun to like hook on to like he shoots it at the Humvee that's with all the bad guys, and he's basically using it as a tether, and it's dragging him. He's hitting things, typical superhero crap. That's and if it was reality, you end up dying. But anyways, so that happens, and then he ends up getting inside the Humvee, and he kicks one of the guys' ass, and then the driver sees him and just jumps out the vehicle while it's moving. So then obviously that would mean the Humvee ends up going out of control and flying off the bridge, and then Batman grabs Al Falcone and shoots his grapple gun up, and to save them from dying. And of course the suitcase gets opened, and then the bioweapon is in danger of falling out. Somehow it doesn't fall out, even though it's open. They're not really secured, and they're kind of like dangling, and he can't really like ascend himself because the it's damaged, so he can't ascend it and everything like that, because he was getting dragged and all that shit. I don't know. And then Wonder Woman shows up and helps. And so she ropes him with the she ropes him with the lasso of truth, helps haul him up. And then there's a dumb interaction between Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. Like she's like, "Oh, you're welcome," and then Batman with the lasso of truth, he's like, "Oh, my ego's way too big to say thank you, blah blah blah." And then he's trying to get the lasso of truth off, whatever, and he keeps speaking the truth of everything, blah blah blah. And Barry tries to help him, and then he's like, he basically admits he's a virgin. It's a real dumb interaction. And then Wonder Woman's all like, haha, well, I gotta go. But yeah, so that's that first sequence. And then the next scene is Barry at CSI. He's obviously late. He gets bitched at by his boss for being late, and he doesn't really have a good excuse. No big deal. Um, and then so he then gets sent out for coffee by his boss, David Singh, and then it switches to him working on the lab or whatever. And his colleagues are like, "Hey, let's get out of here." I think it's time to be done for work, or whatever. And so, and then they're giving him shit because he's really neurotic about making sure all the cases are are looked at the fullest. Basically, he's worried about missing something and sending an innocent person to jail because he's traumatized because his dad got sent to jail. That's basically what it is. So, and then his colleagues are making fun of him and everything like that. And they just prior, they see David Singh interviewing for the or getting interviewed about a case. So they're walking away, and that's when we get Iris West introduced. She gets introduced, and instead of I don't know how it is in the comics. I remember how in the Flash series they were best friends since they were kids. But in the movie, they're college friends. They never asked out. And then he continue, Barry continues acting neurotic and weird with her, and I don't know. It's a dumb interaction between the two of them, really, in my opinion. But he's obviously not really good at talking with girls, and she's trying to be, nice and sympathetic and all that stuff. Anyways, so he goes back home to his apartment, and then he got something in the mail. He had asked Bruce Wayne, Batman, Ben Affleck, whatever, for to enhance a video that he hopes would exonerate his dad. Doesn't end up working. And then he calls his dad on the phone, and they're talking. He's saying, "Hey, I had a friend try and enhance this video to help exonerate you. It didn't work. You don't look up. Blah 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 blah." And then there's a flashback sequence where you see, it's a flashback sequence, so you see basically the day that Nora dies. She sends her husband out to get a can of tomato soup or a can of tomatoes. That's what's in the video or in the surveillance video that Barry was hoping would exonerate his dad, would be him, and them seeing someone seeing him, or the videos showing that he was at the store at the time the murder happened or whatever. So he didn't really have time. Although it doesn't really make any sense. Here's why. So, in the sequence, Nora gets stabbed, and it's what it seems like. It's basically just as Henry Allen gets back from the can of with the tomatoes. So she just gets stabbed. It doesn't. Now I'm thinking it really doesn't make any sense how this would the video, even if you saw a face, really exonerate, because Nora gets stabbed right around the time that Henry Allen shows back up. They both like I guess there's a robber or some shit like that. But anyways, Henry Allen gets back and he opens the door, and then he hears his wife screaming as she just got stabbed. And so he runs into the house. Little kid Barry runs down the stairs, and they meet up, and he's like, "Go 911, Barry, go 911." And for whatever reason, Kid Barry runs out of the house, and this is like, I don't know. Let's see, Kid Barry. I think, let's see. So 2013, he's 18. He's probably, this is like Okay. Anyways, it doesn't make sense because obviously, because around the time he's a kid, either there's going to be, like he runs out of the house basically to go and I guess get the neighbors to get to use their phone. But why doesn't he just use the phone in their house? I don't know. It's a weird sequence. I think it was just made so you could see, because there's a scene where obviously Barry's having his full flashback, and then we get to the part where Kid Barry's running out, and then he in the flashback he runs past future Barry, or the current Barry Allen. Barry Allen looks away, and it's all dramatic scenes. Anyways, yeah. So the evidence exonerating. I'm just realizing this now. It doesn't make any sense because even though it shows even though it would show that he was at the store with getting tomatoes, that's not when she was killed. So it's not really an alibi. It just shows, yeah, he was at tomatoes, because she ends up getting stabbed right when he gets home. Oh, that's a plot hole right there. I'm just realizing it now. That's how bad this movie was. I wasn't really paying that much. I was just getting the notes of what happened and everything, and now I'm just realizing this doesn't make any sense. Anyways. Okay. So after seeing this, Barry's all emotional. He's very emotional. And so he starts running, and he ends up running in, he starts time traveling like he did in the Justice League. It's a weird sequence. So he runs for a little bit, and then he gets I guess he hits the time, I don't know, space time continuum or whatever, and then he gets into a bubble, and then it has him basically running backwards to signify he's running back in time, and then you see surrounding him, you see very kind of a movie reel of images, but in a 3D sense. So he runs back like a day, and then his head pops out during the sequence where he's saving all the babies, and then he stops and comes back to the present basically. But basically he runs backwards, and then when he stops, that's when that's when he can decide on what time to stop basically. And then so afterwards he gets in contact with Bruce Wayne, and he talks to him about it, and they talk time travel. And Bruce Wayne's this is a bad idea. They talk about the butterfly effect that you hear every single time. You hear that basically every single time any time travels mentions the butterfly effect, and it's the idea that if a butterfly flaps its wings, it'll affect a tornado in Costa Rica, or if you step on a twig in the past, it could affect 1,000 different things in the future type shit. That's what they talk about. Bruce kind of you see his character a little bit the death of my parents it's what made me who I am now, et cetera, et cetera. He talks about that. So you get a little personal aspect into Bruce Wayne. It's another thing I don't really like, because I'm used to Bruce Wayne being badass, tough guy who doesn't show his emotions. Maybe I'm just toxic, but that's what I'm used to. So of course, so Iris West comes back, and she wants to talk to Barry, because apparently made such a good impression the first time they talked. So she comes talk to him, and he runs up and cleans up his apartment, and stores it in cabins and when she comes up, a cabinet opens, and all the dirt, all the mess he made pops out. It's a super hilarious sequence. So anyways, so they talk a little bit, and then while they're talking, he's like, well, if I just do a small interaction, then it shouldn't be a big deal. If I don't interact with anyone, et cetera, then it shouldn't be a really big deal. And his ideal is, if I go back in time and give my mom, like, make sure my mom doesn't forget the can of tomatoes, then his dad has no reason to go out. He's still there, and no one, either he'll be there to defend her, or the guy who breaks in won't break in, because it's clear that someone's home, because there'll be a car there. Because I'm guessing they only have one car, and the robber who tries to break in thinks it's empty because there's no car out front in the middle of the day. I don't know. It's weird. So, anyways, Barry goes back in time. He does that. He puts a can of tomatoes in his mom's cart, and then while running back to his the present, he gets knocked out by a dark and mysterious speedster. It's like all in black or whatever kind of looking, and he gets knocked out of the space-time continuum, whatever, and he ends up at his house, his childhood house in 2013. And then he steals because obviously he's in his Flash suit and he doesn't have any clothes. So he steals an old guy's pants and an old lady's coat and their shoes and whatnot. And then he goes inside, sees that his mom's still alive, and he's like, oh, and there's a big emotional crap or whatever. And so he goes upstairs, changes into some clothes, and then he sorry, I'm thinking. And then they eat spaghetti. He's eating spaghetti, and then he sees he's talking to his parents, and then he sees 2013 Barry, who acts like an idiot. Like, he runs up, kicks some trash cans. He's like, blah, blah, blah. So 2013 Barry is a real idiot. He acts really weird. He's a moron. So Future Barry sees 2013 Barry, and he's like, oh shit. And then he just try and cover. He's like, oh, I got to shit to his parents. Okay. And so he runs in and he grabs 2013 Barry, and they interact and everything like that. And Future Barry's confused, and that's when he learns what year it is. It's 2013. So they go up to 2013 Barry's room, and they talk. And 2013 Barry's super immature, and he's wants to see Future Barry does his speed thing. And when he refuses, he's like, Mom, to, I don't know, try and tattle or some crap, because he's, like I said, he's really immature. So while they're talking and everything, and after Barry, after Barry shows off his speed, for Future Barry shows off his speed, whatever. And they're talking, and then the storm starts happening, and he's like, what day is it? And it's like September 9th or some crap like that. And he realizes the day he arrived is the same day he got his powers. And he's like, well, I was at the CSI lab, and the lightning storm hit, blah, blah, I got my powers. So then they break in to the CSI and trying to get 2013 Barry powers, so that Future Barry will have powers, basically. And then there's an unnecessary, he phases through the walls, and there's like this unnecessary sequence showing you Barry's molecule or atoms or whatever, and how they phase through the doors, atoms, and past. I don't know. It's a really unnecessary, dumb sequence to me. But there's that. So they go upstairs, and Future Barry creates the circumstances so 2013 Barry will get his powers. They start arguing just before it happening. 2013 Barry's like, I don't want to get struck by lightning. Blah, 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 blah. You know, he was all ooh ah when he saw the Future Barry having his powers and whatnot. So he's like, I don't want to get to my power, blah blah blah, whatever. And they argue. They're both struck by lightning, and this is another thing that's really dumb. So Future Barry's in front of 2013 Barry while they're arguing. He gets struck by the lightning first, and it goes through him and hits 2013 Barry. Somehow, that ends up transferring Future Barry's powers into 2013 Barry powers or body. Okay, that's what happens apparently. So 2013 Barry heals, because he has super healing, whatnot, and they both get up, and even though he doesn't have his powers anymore and he was struck by lightning, Future Barry's still like perfectly fine to carry 2013 Barry around, and well, not carry, but kind of that one-armed, dragging or whatever. Even though he got hit by lightning too and lost his powers, he's still okay enough to do all that. So they try to escape, and that's how Barry learns he doesn't have his powers anymore. He tries to phase, runs into the wall, and then he does this stupid running pose and then starts running, and then he's just running normal but looks like an idiot. So instead of looking like an idiot at super speed, he looks like an idiot at regular speed. And then somehow they get out and they go to 2013 Barry's apartments. I don't remember how they got it. I think it was just a next sequence they got out. So I don't know. And so when they're back at 2013 Barry's apartment, that's when he learns, 2013 Barry learns that he has powers. And so he starts goofing off with them, of course. And so he goes for a run, and because he's wearing normal clothes and not a friction-proof suit or whatever, he burns all his clothes and ends up getting naked. And so he ends up causing an accident that basically causes a blackout in a portion of the city. And then so because he's being really irresponsible, ends up I think a fuel truck ends up overturning and his lightning catches the fuel on fire or whatever. So he causes a blackout, and still naked, 2013 Barry goes back to his apartment. And so they have a talk, and they keep talking some more. And Barry realizes how hungry he is. 2013 Barry realizes how hungry he is, starts eating a bunch of stuff. And trying to think. Yeah. So yeah, he does that. Then he tries to phase, and he goes down the floor, scares his downstairs neighbor lady because he's still naked, because whenever he phases, he doesn't phase well enough that his clothes stay on him because he's still new. So he falls through the floor, scares the lady downstairs, goes back upstairs, and puts on his dumb robe. Next sequence, Future Barry shows the Flash suit. We get a sequence of, the Flash suit's really tiny, then it expands when it hits the air, etc., etc. Classic Flash suit. Also, more than likely, it was probably, paid for and probably invented by Bruce Wayne. That's my assumption. It's not really explained how he gets his suit, but I'm assuming it's because of Wayne. So Walt and then 2013 Barry puts on the Flash suit, and then he complains how it's tight in the groin. Super hilarious. And then they see people running away and are super scared about something. And so 2013 Barry obviously takes off the Flash suit, puts on his clothes. And then they they go out and like, yo, what's going on? Why everyone's screaming, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it turns out that's the day that Zod appears. And so Future Barry's really terrified. And he explains to 2013 Barry the events of Man of Steel. And it turns out, like Bruce Wayne, Barry was also there. He had just gotten his powers, and he tries to save some people. He ends up saving a kid, but doesn't end up saving his dad, and he's really traumatized by it. He's like, realizing Zod's here, he starts to look for the Justice League members, Victor Stone, Diana, Wonder Woman, Arthur Curry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he gets on the laptop, and so Future Barry's work colleagues are 2013 Barry's roommates. So you get to see them again and them acting weird. So Future Barry starts looking on the laptop. He looks up Victor Stone. Victor Stone's still a high schooler footballer. He can't find Wonder Woman, obviously. He looks up Aquaman's dad, Thomas Curry, calls Thomas Curry, and he's like, oh, can I speak to Arthur? Thomas Curry's like, why do you want to talk to my dog? And so basically, Barry finds out that Arthur Curry was never born. Arthur Curry's Aquaman, if you didn't know or cared to know. So he was never born because I don't know what. Well, changing the. How can I explain it? The Flash did the Flash TV show did a really good explanation on it, or not? Yeah. No, not the Flash. The Flashpoint is a really good explanation on it. There's when there's a sonic boom, like when a jet goes really fast, there's a sonic boom. Well, when the Flash goes really fast in time, there's a time boom, and it ends up altering things even in the past. I like the Flashpoint comic and movie. They explained it really well to help make that make sense. But anyways, that's what happened. He learns, Arthur Curry was never born in this time. That really sucks. So that's when Barry learns that there's no metahumans. He basically created a time or a place where there's no metahumans. But he does learn that Batman is around, that there is a Batman around. Both Barrys go to Wayne Mansion because obviously Future Barry knows where it is, hasn't really changed where it was. And so they go in, they're looking for Batman. They get into a kitchen. Excuse me. And they're looking around. They can't find Batman. And he's in a cupboard or something. And he's long-haired, gray, with beard and everything. And it's Michael Keaton. And Michael Keaton kicks Future Barry's ass because Future Barry can't fight and doesn't have his speed. And 2013 Barry just dodges everything. And that's and then after Michael Keaton's done kicking Ezra Miller's ass, that was a great sequence. They Future Barry says, oh, that's Batman, or you're supposed to be Batman or whatever. And there's that small sequence there. And that's when Michael Keaton is talking, or that's when they all start talking. Michael Keaton explains time travel, basically. He uses some spaghetti reference. He has uncooked spaghetti, and he's you got one path you got two, I don't know. wasn't really paying that much attention. It was kind of boring. But basically, like he crossed like two uncooked spaghettis, and he's like two divergence of time, whatever. And when you time travel, you break one and get into another. I don't know. But then he talks about how like if you mess with time too much, then you get a bunch of cooked spaghetti, and it's just a mess. And it's kind of a dumb analogy, in my opinion. I like Reverse Flash's how he explained it in Flashpoint. You know, you go back in time, you go fast enough to time travel. There's a time boom when you get to your place, just like if the jet's flying, you get a sonic boom. When you break the sound barrier, there's a sonic boom. When you break the time barrier, there's a time boom. I like that one a lot better. So Future Barry explains what's going on, and he asks Michael Keaton, Batman, for help. He says no because he's old and retired. Oh, and it turns out Gotham now is the most safest city of all times, so they don't need Batman anymore. That's why he's retired. So he says no to help, and then so then the Barrys go and they break into the Batcave because Barry kind of has an idea of where it is. So Future Barry uses the Bat computer to try and find Superman. And while that happening, 2013 Barry's, geeking out basically, and he's like, oh my god, this is so cool, etc., 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 and everything, and he's basically nerding out at the fact that they're in the they're in the Bat cave and everything. So but yeah, there's that. And then finally, Future Barry has enough, and he has a meltdown and yells at 2013 Barry. Yelling at him, telling him he's so immature, he's not that serious about anything, etc. And he freaks out because 2013 Barry used like a monkey that his mom got him as a kid, and he didn't really care about it because obviously he had his mom for his entire life, and he, so obviously she's gotten a bunch of monkeys, or he's gotten a bunch of monkeys, and so he doesn't care about this one monkey he got as a kid. But Future Barry, since he lost his mom, really cares about the monkey he got as a kid, so he freaks out about it. I don't know. I'm just trying to find my place. Okay, so yeah, he has a meltdown, and then while he's looking for Superman, he's noticed a camera that's pointing at him that has a red light, and so Future Barry's talking to Michael Keaton, Batman, and is trying to like rally him to help him or whatever. I don't know. Or no, not that's not what he's saying. He's talking how he's like, I don't understand. Basically, he's having a hard time finding Superman, and he's like, I don't understand. Blah blah. There should earlier Michael Keaton explained how like there is oh man, what the hell? Like there's some like time, like there's like nexus points, I think. I don't remember how he explained it, but basically things that like have to happen, basically set points in time that actually end up happening all the time. And if you change it, everything gets fucked up. Or no, you can't change those parts. So Barry's talking about like, I really think that this is a set point in time where Superman comes to Earth or something like that. He can't find him, whatever. Like I said, this was a really crappy movie. It was hard to pay attention. So I'm really sorry some of my explanation is bad. Even when you listen to the movie, it's still bad. Like, this is a bad movie. But anyways, Michael Keaton opens a door in his study, and there's a bunch of bat suits in it. So you get the really cool sequence of that. And while Barry falls asleep, Michael Keaton Batman finds Superman. It turns out he landed in Russia. And he's like, I'll help you. I'll help you find Superman, basically. And he starts I think this was nostalgia bait. He starts quoting movies from, or he starts quoting from his movies. I think in this sequence, he's like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." So it was clear nostalgia bait. So they fly to Russia, and we get another sequence of him gliding down while the other Barrys parachute down into the Russian secret base in Siberia. So that's super cool. And he lands and he takes off and he leaves the other Barrys behind. They follow him quietly. They try to sneak in the base, and then 2013 Barry gets them caught because he runs into something like a can or something, makes a bunch of noise. All the scientists down there look at him and are staring at him while he's in the middle of the floor in a red suit. So it's clear him. So then soldiers arrive and they start shooting at him, and future Barry obviously can't move that fast, so 2013 Barry has to try and help him. Earlier, future Barry says that you can't move people really fast, and he doesn't really explain why, but he says at first it's because of how the friction works. You can only move humans or other people in a short distance. But anyways, so 2013 Barry tries to move future Barry out of the way of the bullets, but then has to move him a couple feet away behind the ladder that they crawled up or crawled down to the base. And then it causes future Barry to start puking his guts out. And just in time, Michael Keaton Batman arrives. Apparently he didn't go all the way down because he's up on one of the catwalks or whatever. He jumps down and starts kicking all their asses. And his cape is bulletproof, so whenever he needs to block bullets, he stands and opens it wide to block the bullets. But he kicks all the soldiers' asses. And then they get into the cell where they believe Superman is being held. And since he's been inactive for so long, he uses outdated tech to try and he uses an old flip phone. And mind you, this is 2013 when this movie is taking place, this sequence anyways. So he tries to use outdated tech to try to break the code to open the cell door. It's not really working for him, obviously. And so 2013 Barry just uses super speed and tries every combination he could think of, or every combination ever, and that opens it. And so when they open the cell door, they go in, and it doesn't really explain what it does, but basically it's like a little prison that mimics Red Sun, which depowers Kryptonians. So they go in, and you see the costume, the S and everything, but it's not Superman, it's Supergirl. So turns out it's not Superman, and so they rescue her because future Barry's like, I can't leave her here because he's a superhero, whatever. And so he grabs her, and they try to escape. So while they're trying to escape, they get caught by an old scientist, and there's a sequence where they're staring down, and Michael Keaton Batman's trying to intimidate him by doing this. Doesn't work, and he ends up trying to go for his gun. And so 2013 Barry's like, I got this, and he pushes him out of the way, but then soldiers arrive, and 2013 Barry gets shot in the knee. So they run away, and they run back to basically where the prison cell is, and they fall down into a pit where none of the regular humans get injured at all. They fall down into the pit. And so Batman. So the commanders trying to dislodge the cell to drop it on him. Batman uses like a blowtorch in his glove or whatever, and opens a hatch, and they jump down in just in time to escape the cell crashing down on top of them. And then they reach an elevator, and Batman puts an explosive underneath, and there's a really intense and really important sequence where he grabs a tool, and it's a tape measure, and he measures the distance from the ground to how far up the elevating platform is, and then he goes, "How much do you all weigh?" And Barry does the calculations real quick, and then he increase the level of intensity of the explosive, then gets on it, detonates it, and the elevator rises. So it was a really important dramatic sequence. And of course, as a Kryptonian, Supergirl, they get launched out of the silo, it looks like, and land on top in the snow. Supergirl gets exposed to the sun, and after being all skinny and stuff, and emaciated from being deprived, she starts gaining her powers after getting exposed to the sun, of course. The soldiers arrive, they all get surrounded, and Batman, they're all three of them are got their hands up and shit like that. And I guess Michael Keaton realizes Supergirl's gotten her powers, so he's like, and he says that line in the one of the Barrys like, what do we do now? And Michael Keaton says that his line in the trailer is like, well, now we just try not to die, or something like that. And he closes his fist, and then there's Supergirl. She starts kicking the soldier's ass. Michael Keaton Batman kicks the soldier's ass as well. And there's a sequence, and they're beating people up and everything. Michael Keaton gets shot in the shoulder, or gets grazed with a bullet in the shoulder. And then after the fight sequence, Supergirl collapses because she's exhausted, because this is the most exertion she's done, and she's not quite used to having powers. And the Batwing comes, and the rest, they get in and obviously fly back to the mansion, Wayne Mansion. So the Barrys are talking, trying to figure out what's going on, who this person is, and whatever. Or no, 2013 Barry's arguing with future Barry, and like, I thought you said it was going to be Superman. This isn't Superman. This is a Supergirl. So they're talking about that, and then Supergirl wakes up, and Barry says, "Oh, we were looking for Superman, Kal-El," and then 2013 Barry is a moron. He's like, "I thought you said his name was Clark." Whatever. And Supergirl reveals her name. She's like, "I'm Kara." I think that's her name, yeah. Kara. Yeah, Kara Zor-El. And that she's Superman's cousin. Sorry. So yeah, she talks about that, how she was sent to be his protector, etc., etc. So our typical story. So nothing's changed there. So she's really weak and exhausted and everything, and so future Barry says, "Hey, 2013 Barry, go take her up to the roof so she can charge." So that's what he does, and that's when she discovers more of her powers, and she starts to fly. And 2013, or she changes, and 2013 Barry's trying to like, it's like, oh, is it okay for me to look now? She's floating and hovering in the air, absorbing more of the sun rays, and getting her power. Basically, discovering she has powers. And so they start 2013 and Kara start talking. They have a small interaction. I don't really care either way about the Supergirl thing. She was okay, I guess, but she has like no facial emotions at all. She was like, she was angry, and she's like, these humans, they kept me in a cell. I came for asylum, and they imprisoned me. There's like no facial expressions when she's talking that I noticed. I don't know. I'm not a professional at this, so I'm probably, but it kind of looked to me like in the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, when he was trying to talk, he would like grit his mouth and like not move his mouth to look real tough or something like that. That's what it basically looked like to me. So there's no facial emotions. She didn't really have a lot of speaking lines. She wasn't really that center. So it is what it is. But I didn't really have a problem with her. But anyways, she flies away because she doesn't want to help, because she doesn't like humans because they entrapped her. And then Future Barry and Michael Keaton, they start having a heart-to-heart where, I think Michael Keaton figures out that Barry saved his mom, or Barry just tells Michael Keaton that he saves her mom, and he's like, 2013 Barry doesn't know, does he? And all that stuff. So they have a little heart-to-heart and stuff like that. And then Future Barry asks Michael Keaton to help get his powers back. And there's like the camera drifts off, and you see 2013 Barry that's like, on the, out of sight, but hears everything. So that's how he finds out that Nora dies in the future, or was supposed to die. And that's why Future Barry traveled back in time, because he'd been keeping a secret this entire time. Anyways, so next sequence is Supergirl flying. Oh, excuse me. So she's flying. So we get a sequence of her flying around, and then she shows up where Zod is. And she's hovering there, and then she sees Zod kill military soldiers because they failed to bring her. Because in Man of Steel, Superman like shows up fairly quickly. So she witnesses that, and that's when she gets discovered, because like she sees him killing the soldiers, and she's like, no. And then of course they're Kryptonians too, so they have superpowers, and so they hear that and stare at her. Michael Keaton and Barry are trying. The next sequence is Michael Keaton and Barry are trying to recreate the accident that gave Barry his powers, so they get all the chemicals and whatnot, and there's a lightning storm happening and whatnot. So they got a little bat kite. It's a kite, bat kite. So it's got in the air just like a classic Benjamin Franklin. And of course it fails the first time, just like in Flashpoint. And Barry doesn't die from it. He just gets severely burned, scarred up, basically. And so he, 2013 Barry tries to, get Future Barry out, and Future Barry's like, no, and looks at Michael Keaton. He's like, do it again. But with that first time, they fried the circuit and can't do it again. And then that's when Supergirl comes back, and she unclips Future Barry, and then she flies him up into the lightning clouds to get struck by lightning again. And there's a big dramatic sequence And of course, the dumb emotional scene. I literally wrote that dumb emotional scene where it looks like he died. Of course, he doesn't die. He regains his powers. But he's unconscious, and while he's unconscious, 2013 Barry makes a suit out of an old Batman suit. There's a sequence. Sorry, I forgot to mention this, but just before Barry gets hit, gets shocked for the first time, Michael Keaton tries to give him a suit that will protect him. And Future Barry's like, no, I can't have that because, for me to get my powers, I got to get burned, basically. So 2013 Barry uses that suit and spray paints it and puts yellow caution tape and spray paints the lightning bolt logo and cuts off the bat ears and whatnots and basically makes an improvised Flash suit out of a Batman suit. And yes, it looks as dumb as it sounds. Future Barry wakes up and realizes, yes, I have my powers back, and he puts on his old Flash suit, and then he's like, "What are you wearing to 2013 Barry?" He's like, "Oh, I made a Flash suit out of a Batman suit." And then, referencing back to earlier, he's like, and the best part about this is there's a little more space in the groin, because, that's really important. So Future Barry talks to Supergirl, and she's like, he's like, "Oh, you came back," and she asks him, like, "Why'd you help me when you when you realized I wasn't Superman, why did you help me?" And Future Barry's like, "Well, because I couldn't leave you there." And that's when Supergirl agrees to help. And so does Michael Keaton. And that might be when he says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." I can't remember. I didn't write down those quotes. But there's times where Mike Keaton references his, the Batman movies that he was in by saying some lines of dialogue. Let's see. So the Barrys and Batman are obviously in the Batwing, flying to the battle, and obviously Supergirl is flying beside him. And then Barry, if you've seen the trailer, you see him take out his phone and takes a picture, records it. And Future Barry's like, "What are you doing?" And 2013 Barry's like, "What? Our kids might get a kick out of it." And when I saw the trailer, I thought he was referring to both the Barrys, but he's actually, obviously, turns out he's referring to him and Supergirl. So it's clear he's infatuated with her, which will play a role later on. So while they're flying in, using the Batwing, they're attacked by the military because obviously the military just sees another strange craft coming in, and they're assuming they're not friendly. Supergirl goes and confronts Zod, and the Flashes, they fight the Kryptonians. They get ejected out, basically, or the Batwing flies down and gets close enough to the ground, and the Flashes basically jump down, and they start fighting the Kryptonians. And then it turns out that Flash's or Future Barry's suit helps dissipate his he builds up a charge basically whenever he runs, so he's got to dissipate that. He basically got to dissipate it. So he warns 2013 Barry, like, "Hey, your suit's not like mine. You're gonna have to dissipate the charge because you'll build it up too quickly. So make sure you do that." And and so they come up with a game plan to fight the Kryptonians. Future Barry takes off their weapons, and then Future Barry or 2013 Barry, will hit them. Now these are Kryptonians, so they get the superpowers by being the sun. So 2013 Barry like attacks one Kryptonian, kind of gets knocked down, and then they do it. They fight. They have a conversation, and then Future Barry's like, well, this time just use your feet, and that's what he does. He ends up knocking one of the Kryptonians down. So then while Supergirl is fighting Zod, she, asks what happened to Kal-El, the Superman. And Zod tells that they intercepted his ship, his pod, and then they ended up killing Superman. And so that obviously enrages Kara, Supergirl, and so she fights angrily with Zod. And then we get to the next sequence, and Michael Keaton's using a Batwing to fight the aircraft. Okay, remote. So Michael Keaton's flying around shooting at the aircraft, trying to take him down, whatnot. And then we get another sequence back to 2013 Barry. He's building up too much charge, and so he's like, well, what if I just use it to like Emperor this guy, referencing Star Wars. Yeah, and then he basically does like Force lightning type shit because he's built up so much charge. But then he gets knocked on his ass because of it. And so so Future Barry's like, well, okay, to stop you from getting knocked on your ass, complete the charge and do like this to like dissipate the charge or to direct the charge a lot better. You got to connect your hands. I don't know. Something dumb like that. And then we cut to another sequence with Supergirl fighting Zod angrily. And then back to the Flashes fighting Kryptonians. There's like some cool, well, not really a cool sequence. It's not really a cool sequence, but they're fighting Kryptonians and they're running around, hitting, shooting their lightning and whatnot. And then they, like in the trailer, you see them like run, turn around, touch heels, run some more. It's dumb. And Michael Keaton Batman's flying around in the Batwing, and he goes to take out the mothership. Basically, it's shielded, so when he shoots his rockets at it, it doesn't really do much. And as he flies away, he gets shot, and the Batwing gets damaged. And then at the same time, Supergirl is killed by Zod. Because while she was fighting Zod, she punched him so much and kind of got him stuck in like one of the metal aircrafts. So then he tries to turn off she tries to turn off the terraforming machine. And while she's doing that, she gets stabbed. And while she's dying, Zod extracts her DNA to try that. It's like the before, like basically her DNA is encoded with the future generation of Kryptonians or whatever. So she extracts her DNA. So Zod extracts her DNA so he can reproduce the next Kryptonians because they don't get pregnant. They just like put them in a pod basically. If I remember correctly from the Man of Steel movie, it's been a minute. So Michael Keaton's flying the Batwing. He can't eject. So he decides, I'm just going to kamikaze and, try and take out the mothership. Doesn't end up working because it's still shielded. And so 2013 runs to Kara, realizes she's dead, gets emotional and time travels. And Future Barry runs after him and they time travel together and they're like, all right, let's reset this, try this again. Sorry. Just to get back, I'm on the Wikipedia page to get like some of the more important stuff. So yeah, it's the growth codex that is within Kara, and that will help repopulate, or make more Kryptonians. So he extracts the codex from her blood. There we go. Anyways, so back to what I was originally talking about. So both the Flashes travel back in time. And so they come up with a game plan to try and prevent the sorry, trying to think. They try to undo and prevent their friends from dying. So Future Barry interacts with Michael Keaton's like, hey, don't shoot at that big ship. It's shielded. Michael Keaton's like, got it, flies over, and then he goes after a giant Kryptonian. And while he's shooting at it, the giant Kryptonian shoots or jumps onto the Batwing and ends up making it crash. But Michael Keaton is able to get out of the Batwing and not die. 2013 Barry helps Supergirl against Zod, but she still ends up getting killed. And then Michael Keaton fights the giant, and he basically uses bombs and blows them up on him, and it looks like he defeats him. But Michael Keaton's injured, and he ends up dying. And then Barry loses his gloves from Future Barry loses his gloves on Future Barry is there when Michael Keaton dies. They have an emotional scene, of course. And then that's when it's revealed that and then 2013 Barry shows up, sees that Batman's died again. And that's when it's revealed the giant hasn't died. He's still alive. And then 2013 Barry starts emperoring him. And then Barry loses his gloves and runs super far away, and then comes back and empires the giant Kryptonian, and that kills him. But his armor bursts apart, and it embeds itself into 2013 Barry's arm. And he gains a Kryptonian blade, basically. Well, a piece of armor that's in a blade shape. And they use that because, let's see, what's her name? Farah Ul. Zod's second in command comes. Shows up. She shows up, and she starts fighting the Barrys, or the Flashes. And Barry uses that Kryptonian armor piece to kill her, and then both Flashes, they run back in time, and they try to reset again. But Barry is realizing, Future Barry, is realizing that there's nothing they can do. It's a fixed point in time that they're going to die no matter what we do or what they do. And this is when 2013 Barry starts to crack because, this chick he's infatuated with keeps dying and he can't handle it, et cetera, et cetera. So he keeps going back in time to try and fix it. And each time he's gaining like a little more and more armor. At some point, I think either during the giant scene or when they defeat Giant Kryptonian, or when they kill Farah Ul or fight Farah Ul, 2013 Barry gets a cut across his face, like right there. So 2013 Barry keeps trying to go back in time and fix everything. Future Barry realizes they're destroying time because he's seeing like cracks in the space-time continuum. And that's when he realizes he's got to let his mom die, basically, to fix everything. And all of a sudden, the Dark Speedster from earlier appears, and Future Barry starts fighting him. And then 2013 Barry shows up and helps. And And so I think he uses his blade or uses the lightning, whatever, and cuts off the Dark Speedster's face mask. And that's when it's revealed. Of course, 2013 Barry turns into the Dark Speedster because he keeps going back, trying to reset everything. He's an older version of the 2013 Barry, and he keeps thinking he can save the world from Zod, and prevents the deaths of Michael Keaton and Supergirl. So basically, he keeps trying and he keeps failing, and he's aged significantly because that's how often he's been trying. So that's when 2013 Barry finds out what he becomes. Okay, and then in the sequence, various other universes, I guess. Yeah, they're like in like the shape of an Earth, basically, but it's the shape of Earth with like kind of like movie reels going on. It's a globe shape basically, and then you can see various sequences, and that's when a bunch of nostalgia crap comes out. So let's see. So like there's it's all bad CGI too. Like this is a bunch of nostalgia crap. Basically you get George Reeves as his version of Superman from Superman and the Mole Men and the Adventures of Superman, which were from the 1950s. You get Christopher Reeves Superman from the 1978 to 1987 films. You get Helen Slater as Supergirl from Supergirl 1984. Adam West as Batman from his movie and TV series. Let's see. You also get what the hell? Hold on. There's someone else. Why can't I find this fucking dude? All right. Well, you also get Teddy Searer or something like that. He appears as Jay Garrick. Teddy Searer is also plays. So he's from the Flash TV show. For some reason, I can't find his name here to make sure I got it right. Oh yeah. Well, so he appears as Jay Garrick, who's like looking up in this at the because like each of the multiverses that you get to see, there's some that like a window basically opens and you can see what's going on basically. But anyways, Teddy Sears, who plays Hunter Zolomon Zoom in the Flash TV show, and also a fake Jay Garrick in the TV show. He appears as a Jay Garrick in this universe for whatever reason. And then also, Nicolas Cage shows up as a Superman. This was back when he was supposed to play Superman in the Tim Burton film that wasn't produced, Superman Lives. So he shot a scene, and the CGI was used to de-age him. All the CGI was terrible. Like they look completely fake. They don't even look remotely like they don't look remote. Like you've seen some of the de-aging, like in Star Wars. I hate Star Wars, the new Star Wars. I mean, but they at least kind of look like they're people. Basically, like Carrie Fisher's de-aging in Rogue One looks like Carrie Fisher when she appeared in New Hope. But all the CGI de-aging here, they all look like shit. All the art, like the only thing that looks fine is archive footage, which you get from Adam West Batman, Caesar Ramon, and Jack Nicholson, the Joker. They just used the archive footage, so that looks fine. But all the CGI they do was terrible. But yeah, so that happens. Yeah, so and then multiverses start to collide and almost get destroyed. 20 or Future Barry tries to convince the or the evil Barry to stop. He refuses, of course. And then he says, you always keep stop, or he reveals he knocked Barry out of the Speed Force so that there would be basically a casual loop paradox that led to Dark Barry's creation. And it turns out Barry keeps so he's angry at Barry because he keeps going back in time to try and let Nora die, which would erase 2013 Barry and all that stuff. So he tries to kill Barry, Future Barry. Yeah, but 2013 Barry jumps in front of the Blade, gets killed himself, which of course erases the Dark Speedster. Because without him, without 2013 Barry, Dark Speedster doesn't exist anymore. So that happens. So 2013 Barry dies, Dark Speedster dies as well. So Future Barry can go back in time without any issues. So he goes back in time. And then he dresses basically like a homeless person. Like he grabs just random clothing and whatnot and interacts with his mom for the last time, gets all emotional and crap. And then he uses his speed to remove the can of soap that his past self put in the shopping cart to fix the timeline, basically. So he interacts with mom, gets emotional, kind of gets closure on that front. And then he fixes timeline. But this time, what he does is he moves the can, because Nora likes a particular type of canned tomatoes, so she takes those. So she likes the green can. So Barry puts all the green cans on top. So that makes Henry Allen look up and his face gets seen by the camera. So he does that so that he has evidence in the future to exonerate his dad. So then he runs back into the time, back into the present where he originally left to try and to try and save his mom. Iris shows up. Oh no, Iris leaves a beer at his childhood home. I think that's what it looked like. It might be his apartment, but I swear it looked like his childhood home that he ran back to. Anyways, so Iris left a beer there, and that reminds Barry, oh, there's court. So he runs to court and he interrupts the court proceedings. And so Henry Allen's lawyers is explaining that the new the evidence that was enhanced by Wayne Enterprises shows that because okay, sorry, I didn't mention this, but originally the reason that Wayne enhanced the video is because the original camera footage was kind of corrupt and not very clear. So he enhanced it to make it clear. But so anyways, in this timeline now, Henry Allen has to look up because in the first one he doesn't look up. He has a hat on and it covers his face the entire time, so you don't really get a clear view of his face. So it's not possible that he's able to, so they can't be positively ID'd. So now with the can of tomatoes up top, he has to look up because and the reason is because the same day is okay. So sorry, I missed some stuff, obviously. So now I got to go back and explain. So the reason Henry Allen got sent to get a can of tomatoes is because that day Nora Allen forgot to buy tomatoes. So that's why he gets sent back, because I think she's making spaghetti or some shit. So that's why he goes back to get the can of tomatoes. And that's why by moving those cans up, it wouldn't get moved back down because it was the same day, basically, just later in the day that Henry Allen had to go get the tomatoes. So anyway, so he's exonerated, so that's all great. Barry and Iris walk out of the courtroom. Barry gets confronted by reporters asking questions, and he makes a reference to the spaghetti. What's the word? The spaghetti analogy from earlier in the film. Obviously, the reporters don't understand it because they weren't there, so he makes himself look like more of an idiot. And then Barry and Iris are walking together, and Iris basically says, "You should ask me out." Barry asked her out. It was really beautiful. No, it wasn't. And then he gets a call from Bruce. Bruce shows up, and it's not Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne, it's George Clooney Bruce Wayne. And that makes Barry very confused. I don't like George Clooney Batman. Bat nipples. No. Terrible. So yeah, that's the end of the film. And then there's a post-credit scene. It's a dumb post-credit scene. Maybe it'll make sense in Aquaman 2. I don't know. But it's a dumb post-credit scene. Barry's talking to Arthur Curry, who's obviously alive now. And Arthur Curry is really drunk. But Barry's trying to explain his time in the multiverse. And then Arthur Curry falls into a puddle of water and says he's just going to sleep there. And asks Barry to get him more beer. And that's the end of the movie. Yeah. So that's the end of it. It was a bad movie, guys. It's a really, really bad movie. I thought it was just absolutely terrible. It was really boring. Like I said, I clearly missed a lot of things explaining this movie, but it's really boring. But yeah. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. So I hope you like my review. It like I said, it was a terrible movie. I don't know if I'll do that one. I do want to go see Oppenheimer. That looks like a really cool. I don't think I'll review it, but I'd like to go see it. So that's a really cool movie that looks like something good to watch. Oppenheimer, if you don't know, he was the one who helped create the nuclear bomb or atomic bomb, the one that we dropped on Japan in World War II. So that looks really cool. But yeah, so that's everything. I'm sorry for not posting any videos the last couple days. I was really busy. I had to do some medical stuff. I'm healthy and everything, but I had to do some of that, and that really prevented me from being able to post any videos. So I should be back to regular schedule on Monday. I might later tonight do some streaming for video games. I don't know, but I will put that on my Twitter, official W Ghost. So check me out there. Let's see. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked my explanation. I really took some good, some decent notes. I missed some stuff, but again, it was just a boring ass movie. I really don't recommend this movie. I saw the YouTuber Yellow Flash. He gave it a 4 out of 10, and 2 was for both Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton Batman. So they both got 2 points each. I kind of agree with that. The story was terrible. There's that plot hole I mentioned, how like the video exonerated his father, but it doesn't make sense because the mom died just when the father arrived back home. So, but anyways, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So make sure you follow me on my YouTube channel, W Ghost with Ghost. My Rumble channel as well with Ghost. Also my sorry, distracted. Also my my gaming channel on Rumble, Gaming with Ghost. Hopefully will be streaming either today or at some point. But again, I will announce that all on my Twitter, which is on my banner right now, floating right across. Look at that. It's beautiful. Twitter at official W Ghost. But yeah, make sure you subscribe and like the video and subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble. Get my numbers up. I got like 9 subscribers on YouTube. Sweet. So thank you to all my subscribers and all the people that like my videos. I know I'm not the best. I am just, I'm not even a month in at this point, but I am working on it, but anyways, yeah. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't go see the Flash movie. It's terrible. Don't waste your money. I just told you all about it. It's a terrible fucking movie. So don't waste 2.5 hours. Just watch my 1 hour and 40-minute video. And I explained pretty much all the fairly important stuff. I missed some things here and there, but again, it's just a boring ass movie. But anyways, I hope you all have a lovely day. If you're a father, happy Father's Day tomorrow. And yeah, so peace out. Peace out.